Okay, guys, so I had a slight malfunction with my computer a second ago, and it deleted the video where I did this, but I'm just going to kind of talk you through what happened here. So first, I made a background for my visual journal page. So we're going to be putting a whole lot of other stuff on top of this. We'll be using stencils, and we'll add some texturing with acrylic paint, and we'll be collaging elements on. So for the most part, this is not really going to be very visible. We just want to have some kind of a base that we can build up from. And the whole idea with a mixed media, with this type of mixed media that is usually used in a visual journal, is that you are building up. We always want to build up lots and lots of layers. So this is just a base. And so I just did a watercolor wash, a gradient wash from sort of this magenta down to a violet. And I'm waiting for it to dry. And so you're going to do this just really quick. You don't need to be super careful because, again, this is not going to be very visible in our final finished product. You're just trying to get something on there. So once you do that, set it aside to dry. And please note, we are doing 2 pages. This is going to be a 2-page spread in our sketchbook. So you'll turn until you have 2 pages that are clean that you can use. So we set that aside to dry. And let me palette over there, my sketchbook over here. I have too many supplies piled up in one place. And so next, we are drawing out elements that we are going to collage onto our background. So you can use a spare piece of paper for this. You can use index cards for this. It doesn't really matter. We're going to be cutting them out and collaging them onto that background. So what elements you use are going to depend on what the prompt is, what your response to that prompt is. So now is the time to kind of go ahead and start planning out what your final image will look like. And so some things you're going to draw kind of on top of everything else or draw onto your background. And some elements you may want to do separately, cut them out and collage them on. We do want to have at least one collaged element on there because, again, we are building up, right? We're creating layers. And collaging is a great way to do that. We're going to do a unit later on that is entirely on collage, but we're going to do some very simple incorporations of collage into our pieces starting now with these visual journal warm-ups. So once you have your background done, just go ahead and start sketching out some of these elements. We'll add color to them later, but today we are just drawing. And you can use this almost as kind of a brain dump, just draw whatever's on your mind. I like to draw portraits. I'm not the greatest at them, but I enjoy drawing them, so I start with a portrait. And then I have morning glories all around my house right now, so I just started doodling. That was kind of the first sort of aesthetic that came to mind was those morning glories. So I've got those 2 over here. And you can, draw as many things as you want because, again, if you drew 100 things and just layered them on top of each other where they're kind of peeking out from underneath, that would be fine. I'm not sure where you have the time unless you worked on it outside of class, but that would be totally okay. So we're just going to take a few minutes to kind of doodle, brain dump, whatever, and draw out some of these other elements. So that is pretty much it for the homework for today. So once you're done with these, they're just in pencils. So you'll just tuck them into the back of your sketchbook and kind of hang on to them until tomorrow when we are going to get back to all of this. And this should dry after just a few minutes. So by the end of class, you should be safe to go ahead and shut your sketchbook.